Good morning, students. So, again, today we will start with the first chapter only, that is Sources of History, part 3rd, Oral Sources. So, we have seen the two parts, that is the material sources and then the written sources. Today we are going to see the oral sources. Oral sources means which the songs like folk songs, povada, folk tales, narrations, interviews, fairs, rhythmic prose and inspirational songs which were orally said at that time. These are also included in the oral source of modern Indian history. Now, inspirational songs. During the period of freedom movement, various inspirational songs were composed. At present, some of these songs are available in written form also, but there are many other unpublished inspirational songs memorized by freedom fighters. Through these inspirational songs, we can get information about the conditions during pre-independence period, and also the spirit behind the freedom struggle could be understood. That these inspirational songs, they tell us about the freedom movement, about the conditions which were at that time during the pre-independence period. All that is included in inspirational songs. Then comes Povada. Povada, it is a source of getting information about a historical event or the work of that person. That Povada means that whatever that person has done, in Povada, one person is taken and his whole life history is described. So, it was a source for getting information about a historical event or the work of a person. There are various povadas composed on freedom struggle of 1857, valor of revolutionaries during British rule, etc. That in these povadas, the struggle of freedom, that is of 1857, and valor means the courage of the revolutionaries, all that is explained in a povada. Then these povadas were used to create motivation and spirit among the people. You know, students, why the oral sources were there? Because at that time during the pre-independence period, there was no TV, there was no radio, so how could they get the information? How could they be motivated? So all these were the sources where that in the night when they have had their dinner, they used to sit outside their houses and then they used to discuss. So they used to discuss about a particular event or the particular life history of some of the person. So they used to discuss in a form of povada, folk songs, inspirational songs like that. And why it was there? So that the local people, they could be motivated, they could have the spirit, that to motivate the people, to encourage them, to have the spirit among them for the freedom movement of our country. All these were the sources which were undertaken. Apart from freedom movement, the povadas were composed based on the work of a Satyashodhak Samaj for awakening of the oppressed classes, the Sanyukt Maharashtra movement and such other events. That not only for the freedom movement were all these oral sources used, but they were also used for awakening among the oppressed class of our society. Then came the fourth source of history, that is audio visual sources. Now in this audio visual sources, there was a technological development. Now the history has entered into the modern era where there was a technological development, that we used to take photograph, the recordings were there, the films were there. So now we have entered into the modern era of history. During the modern period, due to the development of technology, there was a development in the art of photography, recordings, films, etc. These photographs, records or films can be used as a source of history. If you have seen the museum, in the museum, the photographs are placed. So how they have got? Due to this technological development. Photograph are visual source of modern Indian history. With the discovery of art of photography, photograph of various persons, events, objects, structures, places were clicked. Like I will give you the example. If you have visited the Shegao temple, Gajanan Maharaj temple. So when we enter the temple, you can see the various pictures are placed on the wall, right, from the first face till the last face of Gajanan Maharaj. And in that picture all is described, that how they used to travel, how they used to beg, what they used to do, all right from the first picture till the last picture, all the pictures are placed in that temple. So through that picture we get the information that what would have happened in that era. So the photographs are also a source of history. Through these photographs, we get information of the person or an event in a visual format. Visual formats means which we can see, कि हम देख सकते हैं. In case of medieval period, there are paintings available that depict the physical features of a person or visual description of a particular event. That in the medieval period, the paintings were available, like in Ajanta and Ellora caves. The paintings are there. So that paintings depict the physical features of a person, that how the person used to live at that time. Then the authenticity of these painting is doubtful. Authenticity means originality, that they are original or not, so that is doubtful. Our archaeologists, they have not confirmed about that. Comparatively, photographs are considered to be more reliable, that rather than the painting, the photographs according to the book, they are considered to be more reliable. The photograph of a person gives information about the physical feature, the dressing styles, etc. That if we'll see the pictures of the people of the Indian history, we'll get the information that how they used to dress, what was their lifestyle, what was their living standard. So all these we get the information through photographs. Photograph of an event give a visual image of the events, whereas photograph of an object or a structure helps in understanding its nature. Then comes recordings. The discovery of technique of recording was also as important as photography. Recording is a form of audio source of history. That in recording you cannot see but you can hear. कि recording में आप जो है देख नहीं सकते लेकिन हम सुन सकते हैं. Earlier recorders were there, a disc type of the recording was there and it was placed on a gramophone and they used to listen like that. Now there are mobiles, tape and all, but earlier gramophone was there. During modern period, the speech of leaders or important personalities, songs, etc. are available in the form of recordings. They can be used as a source of history. For example, national anthem Jana Gana Mana, sung by Rabindranath Tagore himself, or the speeches of Subhash Chandra Bose can be used as an audio source for the study of the history of modern India. Then came films. Now we have entered into technological development. The photographs were there, recordings were there, and then we have developed so much that the films were also there. It was considered as a unique discovery of modern technology. In the 20th century, there was a great development in the technique of filmmaking. Dada Saheb Phalke in the year 1913 laid the foundation of Indian film industry. That now we seen the award function, Dada Saheb Phalke award is given, isn't it? So Dada Saheb Phalke in the year 1930, he was the person who had led the foundation of films. Audio-visual recording of Dandi Yatra, Salt Satyagraha, Quit India movement and such other historical incidents are available in the form of films. We used to see Mr. Gandhi movie. We have seen the Quit India movement film and various historical films are available. We can see them now in a film also. Through these films, the events could be seen in reality, that by going through this film, we can see the reality. Like we have seen in the Lagan movie, that how they used to torture the farmer for the tax, that is Lagan. And so many historical movies are there which gives us information about that period. You have might seen the movies also, like Mr. Gandhi is earlier it used to come on the TV. Now So many pictures they are there. Then compared to ancient and medieval period, the sources of study of modern Indian history are found in abundance and variety. The archaeological sources of this period are to a great extent found in a better state. There are many written sources preserved in the archives, but while referring the written sources, the ideology and opinions of the author regarding the particular event needs to be examined. That while referring to the written sources, we have to examine that whether the author which he has written, whether it is real or not, that we have to examine. And there is a great need of preserving all these historical sources. Why? So that our future generation will come to know about the tradition of our history, about the sources of history which were there. This future generation, how they will come to know that how we have got the independence. So these are all the sources of history which will tell us about what has happened in a pre-independence period. Now, there is a great need of preserving these historical sources through which the rich tradition of history can be handed over to the next generation, so that our next generation, our future generation, they will not assume that this independence which we are enjoying it today is just we have get like that. No, no, my dear students, we have sacrificed a lot to get this independence. Today, just a small virus is irritating us in our home with our family members. We are not ready now to sit. We are irritated. आज 3-4 महीने हो गए लॉकडाउन होकर, हमें अपने ही घर में हम जो है परेशान हो रहे हैं कि कब हम बाहर जाएंगे, कब हम घूमेंगे, कब करेंगे. So just think for a moment that today we are living in a free country. We have got the freedom. But just think what would be the condition in that period when the Britishers were there. No TV, no mobile. Just think. So the freedom which we have got is valuable. So just think about it and just try to preserve it. That there is a great need. Now it is a great need of preserving all these sources, because our generation, our today's generation, they don't know about our history. So many persons are there who don't know about our national heroes. So now there is a great need of preserving all these historical sources so that we can give this rich tradition of our history to the future generation. So now with this, students, we have completed our first chapter, Sources of History. You now read